Welcome, one and all. This is the Ancient Journey. On today's journey, the miracle at Spanish Forks. But before we get started, don't forget, if you enjoy the video, please give us a like and a share, and please subscribe. And don't forget to turn on those notifications. And if there's a story out there you'd like to see us turn into a video, drop it in the comments section down below. Now let's get started. Jenny Groesbeck has left her parents' home in Salem, Utah on the night of March 6th, 2015. Jenny's father, Chad, makes sure that his granddaughter, Lily, is strapped in nice and tight to her car seat. Chad's concerned that his daughter shouldn't be driving. He knows she's taken a drug called clonazepam, which is an anti-seizure and anti-anxiety medication. Clonazepam can cause drowsiness or a feeling of euphoria, and Chad is concerned that at the late hour, and after taking the pill, Jenny may have issues driving. He even offers to drive her home, but Jenny refuses. So Chad makes sure that Lily is safely buckled in, and watches Jenny drive off, monitoring her driving as she pulls away to see if he notices any issues. Jenny leaves Salem at around 10 p.m., heading to her home in Springsville, just a 20-minute drive away. Thistle, Utah, had been a small, booming town whose main industry was the servicing of steam locomotives. And when the rail industry turns to diesel locomotives, the town starts to dry up. But the dried-up town soon wasn't very dry at all, as a landslide would dam up the Spanish Fork River in 1983. Causing the evacuation of the town, as the dammed river created a nearly 65,000-acre lake to be formed. Tunnels were created to reroute the water, but the damage had been done. Thistle had been destroyed. The Spanish Fork River crosses under the South Main Street in the town of Spanish Fork, and at around 10:30 p.m. on the night of March 6th, a witness reports hearing a terrible crash at the bridge. Spanish Fork holds some decent fishing in the area, with trout, walleye, white bass, and catfish making their home in the waterway. And at around noon on March 7th, a man is ambling down to the river, ready to fish just near the South Main Street bridge. A call comes into the town's police station. In the released recording, the angler, whose name has not been released, calmly asks if the police are aware that there is a car in the river. He states that he doesn't see anyone around, and he can't see in the car. But just a few minutes later, the angler has called 911, this time telling the dispatcher, "There's a car in the river. It's upside down off Main Street, and there's a person inside. I can see a hand." It's less than 2 minutes before the sirens of first responders can be heard in the background of the 911 call. Nearly half a dozen first responders, police officers, and firefighters arrive on the scene and rush to the overturned car. And from the car, as they approach, a woman's voice calls out. It's hard to hear what the voice calls out, but the word help can be heard. And the woman's words are so clear, in fact, that the body camera audio of one of the rescuers picks it up. And he hears it too, responding to it, saying, "We're helping. We're coming." All of the responders have heard the voice. In fact, 4 of their responders respond to the voice, talking back to it when they hear it. I'll play it here. Give it a careful listen.
"We're helping! We're coming!"
Did you catch it? Here it is one more time, and I'll slow it down just a bit.
"We're helping! We're coming!"
The rescuers ignore the freezing water, prying at the doors of the sedan, eventually flipping the car over, desperately trying to gain access. And when they finally do, the only person in the car they find alive is little Lily, hanging upside down, still buckled in her car seat, so snugly attached the night before by her grandfather. And sadly, Jenny is clearly deceased, having died on impact from the accident. Lily hung upside down, just inches from the freezing river and her deceased mother, for over 14 hours. One of the responders, Tyler Beddoes, lies awake for several nights after the rescue, pondering what it is he had just witnessed. He and 4 of his fellow rescuers heard the voice call out clearly enough that they were having a conversation with it, but there was no one in the car for the voice to have come from.
What happened? We're coming!
It sounded like help, he thought. He was sure of it. Tyler's at a low point in his life from many years of difficult and sometimes grotesque police work. He admits to questioning his faith many times until that day. And on that day, he realizes that the angel may not have only saved Lily, but also may have saved him. Tyler goes from questioning his faith to being a believer once again. If you want to hear the audio for yourself away from this video, you can. You can just search Jenny Groesbeck. I'll even throw a link in the description of this video. There is absolutely a voice there. What the voice says is up to interpretation, but the intention of the voice is quite clear. It's seeking help. And I can tell you, hearing it sent chills down my spine. There's no doubt that a voice is communicating with the first responders, but it can't be Jenny, and it's not the infant Lily. Sadly, Jenny Groesbeck was found to have had several narcotics in her system. Many drugs were found in the car as well. Jenny had suffered a previous injury that resulted in her searching for relief from her pain. She found relief in the drugs, and they likely caused her accident that night. Lily Groesbeck survived the crash, and according to her grandfather, she's doing quite well. Tyler Beddoes goes on to contribute to a book called Proof of Angels. He stated his faith is returned and his dedication to being a police officer has been reborn. The Groesbeck family keeps in touch with the first responders, sending pictures of Lily as she grows. She would be about 9 years old today. Hopefully, she still has that angel looking out for her. Thanks for watching. And thanks for sharing the journey.